Hello and welcome to this tutorial on creating different worlds and creating a level select screen for your game in Crayta. So in Crayta you can have multiple levels and they exist in an area called worlds in your library. So navigate to that worlds area either in this drop down or using the tabs in the library, and you should find you have at least one world in there, probably called main, which is the default world that's automatically added to every game in Crayta. So the main world will have what you're used to working in so far, but you can make additional worlds by clicking the Create New Asset button in the World section here. Type in the name of the level or the world you want to add, and then click OK. You can edit different worlds by double-clicking on these entities here, or right-click and click Edit. Let's edit this volcano world that I've created. So I've double clicked it and now the Crayta editor has navigated to that world. So any changes I make here are going to be updated automatically in the volcano world. Just be a bit careful because voxel meshes and templates that you edit in different worlds will propagate across all of the worlds. So if I was to edit one of my templates in here, the same template would be edited in the main world or the world select world. Once I've created all of the worlds I want to make for my game, then it's the time to create my level select screen. I would suggest holding off creating your level select screen until you've created all of the worlds or levels that you want to make for your game. This is so that you don't make a couple of levels, then make your level select screen, and then make another level, and then have to go back and edit that level select screen every single time you make another level. So it's worth holding on until you've made all of the levels that you think your game is going to need before you make that final world select screen and then publish your game after that. So once you're at the point where you're happy with the levels you have in your game, then it's time to create a level select screen. So click Create New Asset, and then I've already got mine here, which is called World Select. So navigate to editing that. So here you can see on my world select screen, I've got two icons or two entities, which are going to denote the two different levels that you can navigate to. This is the volcano one, and this is going to be the main one. Now that I've done that, I also will want to create a teleporter so that I can teleport my player to those places. So I've already created a teleporter template, and I'm going to access that template and edit it by clicking on this world dropdown and clicking teleporter. So here's my teleporter, and what I want players to do is I want them to interact with the statue using their usual interact input method, and then that will automatically send them to one of the worlds that I've created. So what I need to do is I need to add a script to this teleporter. So I'm going to select the teleporter either in the hierarchy or by clicking it. Then I'm going to click Entity, Add Script, New Script, and this is going to be called Teleporter Script. So notice I'm doing this on the template so that I can reuse this teleporter in all of my game worlds. Now that I've added the script, I'll scroll down and I'll edit that script. So here I am in the script editor, and I'm just going to remove the stuff that I don't need. So I'm going to remove the init function and that example property. So I do need a property. Property is going to be the destination that I want to send the player to when they interact with this particular teleporter. So the name is destination, type will be world asset, which links to all of these assets here in this world section of the library. And I'm just going to add a tooltip, which isn't mandatory, but it's worth doing so that you know what this is going to be at a later date. So this is where to send player when they interact. Okay, so that's the destination property set. And when I save that, so Control S, I should see that the destination property comes up down here. And actually clicking on the drop down, I can select which world I want the teleporter to send them to. However, nothing's going to happen just yet because we need to add a functionality to do that. So to do that, I'm going to create a function which is going to teleport a player using this script. So teleporter script colon teleport player. And in the brackets, I want a reference to the player that I want to send to a different world. So I'm going to put player in there. And then I'm going to follow that with an end. so that the function ties in with the end so that I don't accidentally miss off an end afterwards. Now that I've done that, I want to check that the player exists, because just because this function has been called doesn't necessarily mean that I've called it with the correct argument. So let's check it exists first. Player, if player not equal to nil. And I also want to check that the player is an instance of the character template. This is because I need to send the user to a different game world. And to get hold of the user, I need either the user to be sent to me, or I need the player to an instance of a character to be sent to me. So if the player is not equal to nil and player is a character with a capital C, so now I know that my player is definitely a character and that it exists. Then, and I'll follow that with another end. So something worth bearing in mind is the order of this. So I'm checking it's not equal to nil first, because if the player is equal to nil, it won't try and run this function on the player. It will just quit at that point. So worth bearing in mind the order in your AND statements. So if player is not equal to nil and player is a character, then now I know that the player is a character, so I can get hold of the user, player get user, and I can send them to the world quite simply with the go to world function. And it's after a world asset. So I can do self.properties, and then I can reference this destination here, destination, and that will then send the player to the world that I've selected in this destination box here. Now, this function doesn't call itself. It sits there and it's waiting for an event or something for it to call it. So going back to my teleporter, I wanted players to interact with the statue, and that to then send them to their chosen world. So I'm going to click on that statue, and I'm going to go to this onInteract event here, and I'm going to add the listener, which I've just created in the teleporter script. So the entity will be the teleporter, and that should be under this template. The script should pre-fill, and if that doesn't pre-fill, then something's gone a bit awry, and you may need to check that you have selected the correct entity and that the script is applied to that entity. And then the event I want is the one only event that I've created in that script, which is teleport player. So notice that by using the onInteract event, the player in the brackets of this script here will automatically be set by the onInteract event. Fortunately, I know that the onInteract event will automatically send whatever has just interacted with it along in those brackets. And the same with an onCollision event or an onTriggerEnter event. So that's one of the good things about using this event system and knowing that the player is going to be sent along with it. So that's my template done. And the great thing about using a template in this situation is now all I need to do is add it to where I want players to be able to teleport. So back to this level, select world. I'm going to click on the template section of my library. I'm going to select my teleporter, and then I'm just going to add it into my world. So one there to navigate to the volcano world, and one there to navigate to my main world. Now that they've been added, I can select in that drop down the destination I want to send players to. So for this one, this is going to go to my volcano. And for this one, I want to send the players to the main world. Now, at this point, it would usually be a good idea to test that these work, but we can't test that teleportation works in Crayta until we've published the game, because all of the worlds will exist on different servers, and it's just not possible to do that. So what we need to do first is hook up all of our teleporters across the game to make sure that when we do publish the game, they're all going to hook up and we can test them all. So now that I've sent people to each of these game worlds, I need to be able to send them back to the level select from each of the game worlds. So I'm going to navigate to the world section of this library again, and I'm going to go to the main world, which is the default world that's automatically added to every game in Crayta. Once I'm in here, I'm just going to go to the very end, and I'm going to put my teleporter here. So templates, teleporter here. Great. Now, before I do the same to my volcano world, I just need to check and make sure that my destination is selected. So I'm going to send people back to world select. Cool. Now that I've done that, worlds, volcano. Let's go and do the same in my verifying volcano world. So in this world, it's actually possible for players to climb up this cliffside here. And I'm going to put some kind of secret up there and then make it possible for them to teleport from there. So templates, teleporter. I'll just put it there because that lighting looks quite nice on that rock face. Cool. Okay. And let's just make sure that that teleporter is set so that it sends people back to the world select. Okay, great. So like I said, we can't test the game. So what we need to do now is we need to publish the game. So I'm going to press escape, head to the create section and find the world I'm currently editing, which is in my games. Now I should see that I'm currently editing it, which has grayed out my edit button. If you see this and your edit button isn't grayed out, it means that this is not the game that you're editing and you might need to check what you've just edited. But fortunately, I'm in the situation where that was my game. So I'm going to click publish now. Publish, and you can change your name, the name of your game, your description, the cover image. I'm actually going to change this cover image to be that one. And it's worth tagging your game so that people can find it a lot easier. You can have up to 6 tags. And then I'm going to click publish, continue to publish, and then publish. So now that I've done that, I'll just wait a couple of seconds for Crayta to publish that game. My game is now public, so it's worth immediately testing it to make sure that those teleporters all work. So I'm going to navigate to the play screen. And if I scroll down to recently updated, I should see that mine is first on the list because it was the most recently created game. So I click on that and then I click play. Just wait a couple of seconds to join the game. So I've automatically entered into the main game world, which isn't ideal. That's not actually what I wanted. I wanted players to enter into the level select world. So let's remedy that. I'm going to press escape. I'm going to go create, and I'm going to go back to my warp world, and I'm going to click edit. Now, the great thing about publishing a game in Crayta is that you can actually edit the game and then republish it really easily. So I'm just going to go to the world select. I'm going to go to my game actually and select starting world. So in order to change what the starting world is for your player, you just click on this game tab up here in the top right corner, and you click on the drop down for starting world. Notice that it will be automatically set to main, and I'm going to set mine to world select, which is this one here. So that's all I needed to do. That's that bit done. So now I can go back, I can click create, and I can republish my game using the same process I used to publish it before. So that's published. Let's go and test it out. Play. Recently added. Play. So just joining the game now, and we should see that now I arrive on my level select screen. Perfect. So if I interact with this statue, I should visit the main world. It's worth having music on your level select screen because the music continues playing when you transition to other worlds. There we go. So in my main world, which is quite friendly, green and luscious. And if I interact with this statue, I should head back to the level select screen. Again, music is a really useful thing to have in these worlds because it keeps that experience going when you're navigating between. And let's see if the volcano one works as well. And there we go. So both teleporters work, and I can navigate to different levels in my game, and that's the end of the tutorial. So hopefully you found that helpful. If you want to experiment a little bit more with teleporters, then I suggest you look at some of the save player data stuff to make sure that your players state is persistent between the game worlds. So if they've picked up things, and you can also use it to navigate to specific locators. I've seen some really great packages in the community for transporting players to different worlds. So definitely check those out. I really look forward to seeing what you make with your multi-level games, and I look forward to seeing you in the game.